Hello and welcome to the International Volleyball Academy, where our aim is to turn you into good volleyball players. Each individual episode of our academy builds on the previous one, so hopefully you've seen them.
In the last episode, we began discussing an important topic, the jump serve, which is the first attack in volleyball. Before we continue with this, let's recap what we've already discussed. Hui said that we primarily guide boys to transition directly from the top spinning serve, which they learn at age 12, to the jump serve. For both boys and girls, practicing the jump serve develops important ball control skills. We also clarified that right-handed players usually toss the ball with their right hand and left-handed players with their left, but pointed out exceptions where this may be reversed. In the demonstrations, we showed that the approach for the jump serve must be quick and dynamic, just like with a jump. The toss must aim into the court, and when combined with a dynamic approach, the player lands deep in the court. The ball should be hit above the player's head, not in front, and the final direction and spin are imparted by the wrist.
The tactical intent can be indicated by the intended trajectory of the ball's flight, but it may also relate to the zone where the player will subsequently engage in team defense. In this case, setter Resende aims directly into zone 1. The left-handed player serves from behind zone 5, which may also be advantageous for the diagonal flight of the ball. Different reasons lead the Slovenian veteran Pajenk or the Polish junior player to serve from behind zone 6. Sometimes we recognize the intent from context, while at other times it remains hidden. The intention to tactically exploit an unexpectedly altered trajectory is entirely clear. The first method is the short jump serve, which we see performed by Polish representative Semeniuk and two Czech representatives, Vashina and Litsek. This execution is very coordination intensive, and some young players reach it through trial and error. However, we don't want to leave it to chance and systematically prepare the players for it. First and foremost, it's about ball control. Anyone can deliver a hard hit, but a controlled short strike with spin requires skill. It's important to emphasize to young players that this strike also requires a dynamic approach. It's essential that nothing disrupts the ingrained movement pattern from spiking, and it starts with a quick approach.
Then there are the girls. The jump serve, and therefore even this short one, is not entirely common in women's volleyball. However, we want 13-year-old girls to train just like the boys. There are two reasons for this. First, no one knows how women's volleyball serves will look in 10 years, so we should prepare for the possibility that the jump serve may outweigh the float serve. Secondly, practicing the jump serve is also an excellent way to train in spiking, especially after one's own toss, which is useful for blocking and digging.
But we have digressed from the tactics. After the short jump serve, there is another tactical variant.
The serve with side spin, also widely used, is again expertly performed by Brazilian setter Resende. And since practice makes perfect, our young players must reach this variant through rigorous preparation. First, they practice against a wall, where they learn the fine wrist action when striking the ball from the side. Then they can practice on the court, where they again start from within to eventually reach their own serve, like their model, Czech representative Lukáš Vashina, who now plays for GKS Katowice. Then there is the tactical variant called the hybrid. It's essentially a cross between a float and a jump serve and has two variations.
The first variation is when the player tosses the ball with one hand for a jump serve, but strikes it as a float serve. It is not very dangerous because the opposing players have enough time to read the server's intent and react accordingly. After all, the float serve travels at a maximum speed of 70 kilometers per hour. Nevertheless, we train this serve with 13-year-old girls and boys who often use it in their games. The second variant of the hybrid is more dangerous. This is where the player tosses with both hands, and the initial phase of execution is identical to the float serve. However, after this toss, a surprisingly hard strike occurs, similar to a jump serve. The danger lies in the fact that the receiving players on the other side position themselves closer to the net in anticipation of a float serve, which is disadvantageous when a hard hit comes. We must also practice this second variant with the children, which is not easy. It's very challenging to synchronize the toss and the contact point with the ball at the moment of the strike. That point must be located above the right shoulder, not in front, in order for the player to hit hard, including wrist action. In other words, the left side of the body must move forward and literally precede the tossed ball. We train this by having the player catch the ball above the right shoulder, while the left side of their body is already positioned in front of the ball. A suitable exercise is also when the ball is tossed from behind in the direction of the approach, and the player must get under the ball to hit it above the right shoulder.
Now it's time for the actual serve. As you can see, we can start practicing this as early as 13 years old if the children have automated their spiking technique, and we guide them methodically in line with what has been said. And here we see what we don't want. A hit in front. We want it like this, above the right shoulder. Just like with the previous variant, we guide girls of the same age to attempt this variant too. It even seems to be more advantageous than the jump serve, but only the future will tell. And with a final demonstration where we see the masterful execution of the hybrid serve by Czech national team setter Bartuněk, we conclude this episode on the tactical use of the jump serve. Now, a brief recap.
The tactical use of the serve starts with whether the player serves from behind zone 1, 5, or 6. Simply put, from the right, left, or center. An important tactical variant is the short jump serve. We showed that the path to its masterful variant goes through perfect wrist control of the ball. A similar tactical variant is the serve with side spin. The process again starts at 13 years old, standing against a wall. We explained what the hybrid serve means and presented its two variants. The first, where the toss is for a jump serve and the execution is for a float serve. The second, where the toss is for a float serve and the execution is for a jump serve. Once again, we demonstrated the path from youth volleyball to a masterful form, emphasizing that the strike should be executed above the right shoulder.
What awaits us next? The float serve, which overwhelmingly dominates women's volleyball but occasionally appears in men's volleyball. If you like the show, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Also, don't hesitate to ask anything in the comments. We will answer all of your questions. Take care and see you next week.